Now, pharmacists will be able to prescribe medication to people living with HIV. This after the court dismissed an application brought by the IPA Foundation. The foundation approached the court seeking to review and set aside the South African Pharmacy Council's initiative to implement pharmacy-initiated management of antiretroviral treatment. For more on this, Council President Mogologolo Phasha joins us to give us, of course, their view regarding this order. Mogologolo, thank you so much for your time and a very warm good morning to you. A win for you as council. Good morning.
Good morning, Dumelo and the viewers.
Absolutely. With that being said, is this a win for you?
Oh, no, not at all. This is rather a win for South Africans. It's a win for the people living with HIV and AIDS. It's the win for treatment of this disease called HIV and AIDS, nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the IPA Foundation, what would you say was their stance in terms of resisting this order and placing an application here to appeal?
So, Tumelo, we believe that it was just a matter of them not understanding where we are coming from as the South African Pharmacy Council. They were not understanding perhaps that we are merely involved in public health response, and we are not trying to do a scope creep or anything of that sort. And also we are not doing a wealth fest. You know, this kind of training for pharmacists, it exists all over the world, from middle income countries, high income countries, people with less burden than South Africa of HIV and AIDS. So I think it was only that to me.
Right. And earlier on where you said this was a win for South Africans, I suppose you're speaking also from here, the widened access now when it comes to ARV treatment, right? But also pharmacists being allowed now to give that service to many South Africans.
That is the main thing, because what PMAD will do is that it will allow much more access. There will be more people more professionals that people living with HIV and AIDS can be able to go to and get assistance. Just to give you an example, Tumelo, Department of Health reports that 93% of people living with HIV and AIDS know their status, but only 78% of those are on treatment. So we are having a 15% shortfall as a country on getting these people on treatment. And that's the goal of which we want. We would want to have everyone who is knows their status to be on treatment. And this will help to identify and put those people on treatment.
Right. Perhaps if I can just, share with you, and I'm sure you are aware, but get your comment on the IPA's claims made against the SAPC, saying, for one, you had failed to give interested parties an adequate opportunity to comment before the initiative was implemented, but also saying and accusing the SAPC, Mogologolo, of misleading the Director General of Health, claiming there'd been extensive consultation with stakeholders leading to the approval and issuing of permits for the initiative. I mean, your comment on this?
Oh, no. Tumelo, there is just one specific prescribed way at which a pharmacy council can introduce a project of this nature. And that has been followed to the latter. We publish a board notice and people miss these publications out there. And when people miss the publications, they come and then say, oh, no, we didn't. You know, they catch the train further down. And then whereas they forget that the train has long left the initial station where it moved. By the time they catch it, it's so long in the journey that they believe that there has not been any consultation. No, we have done extensive consultation in terms of the processes that we as a Secretary Council does. And it's not different, I must say, to what the Health Professions Council, for example, does in case of doctors, in case of also the way the Nursing Council will introduce a new program like this. We've done exactly the same way that all the statutory councils do. So in terms of the misleading of the Director General of Health, I must tell you, Tumelo, that we are doing this thing because we were requested by Department of Health to actually do it. So I don't know how we can mislead the people who actually approached us and said, can you find a way to bring pharmacists to come and help in this disease burden? So we cannot mislead. It can be true.
And I appreciate you speaking to us this morning. Mogologolo, Phasha, thank you so much for joining us right here on Newslink. South African Pharmacy Council President, speaking, of course, on what he describes as a win for South Africa. This, of course, a widening access to HIV treatment now being ordered. Pharmacists and GPs alike now both have, of course, a way to assist those needing HIV treatment.